Hi everyone. I welcome you all to this really important lecture that we are going to cover today. I am Arpita Sharma, your educator, and today we are going to study a very important topic, or you can say chapter, in the political theory book. This political theory book is the NCERT of class 11th. ये class 11th की आपकी NCERT है, जिसके अंदर we have this very important chapter called secularism. Now, on this particular chapter, there have been many questions that have been asked in your UPSC examination, not the prelims, but the मेंस एग्जामिनेशन जो आपका मेंस का पार्ट होता है यूपीएससी का उसमें काफी क्वेश्चंस इससे पूछे गए हैं. इवन इन 2019 देयर वाज अ वेरी कंट्रोवर्शियल क्वेश्चन दैट वाज आस्क्ड फ्रॉम दिस चैप्टर. सो दैट इज व्हाई टुडे वी आर गोइंग टू स्टडी दिस चैप्टर फ्रॉम द पर्सपेक्टिव ऑफ यूपीएससी फ्रॉम एनसीईआरटी in a very easy manner using different case studies, pictures, examples, diagrams, etc. So let's get started with this chapter. शुरू करते हैं इस chapter को without any delay. When I talk about secularism, what does it mean? Now, does it ring any bell in your head when I talk about secularism or when I pronounce this word secularism? Now, most of the people, they say that secularism means when you are free to follow any religion. Secularism means when, there are no restrictions when it comes to following religion of our choice, etc. But do you know that secularism is much more broader than this? क्या आपको पता है सेक्युलरिज्म की डेफिनेशन नॉर्मल लोगों से अगर पूछी जाए तो वो बोलते हैं कि आप कोई भी धर्म का पालन कर सकते हैं, आपकी मर्जी होती है, दिस एंड दैट, आपके पास फ्रीडम है. बट क्या आपको पता है सेक्युलरिज्म की डेफिनेशन इतनी नैरो नहीं है, काफी ब्रॉड माइंडेड है. So what are the important prospects or principles which are covered in secularism? We are going to study that today. We will study what is the meaning of secularism. We will study why it is said that it's a western implant on Indian soil, and is it really a western implant on Indian soil? क्या ये आइडिया हमने वेस्टर्न कंट्रीज से लिया है, ऐसा सच है? Is it true that we have taken this idea of secularism from western country? That also we are going to study. Secondly, we will study, is it suitable for societies where religion continues to exercise strong influence? We will study that it is said secularism is equal to partiality. Is it correct? Or when we say secularism is equal to being anti-religious, is that correct? So all these facts we are going to solve these questions. We are going to find the answer to these questions in this chapter. Okay. Now we know that our Indian Constitution declares every Indian citizen having a right to live with freedom and dignity in any part of the country. Indian Constitution बोलता है ना, it is said by Indian Constitution that you have the right to live with freedom, you have the right to live with dignity in any part of this nation. ऐसा नहीं है कि इस नेशन के किसी एक पार्ट में आपके पास डिग्निटी से रहने की राइट नहीं है, हक नहीं है, ऐसा तो नहीं है. You have the right to live with your dignity. So secularism, basically it's an opposition to intra-religious domination. There are two kinds of dominations, inter-religious and intra-religious. We will study these two kinds of domination also. So secularism, it is said, it's opposition to intra-religious domination. It is the first and foremost a doctrine that opposes all kinds of inter-religious domination or intra-religious domination. तो basically अगर हम layman's के language में समझाएं तो secularism क्या है? एक ऐसी विचारधारा, एक ऐसी doctrine जिसके अंडर किसी भी तरीके के inter-religious और intra-religious domination को हटाया जा सकता है. So what is inter-religious domination? I'll give you an example. Inter-religious domination means when a person of one religion tries to dominate the person of another religion. जब एक रिलीजन का बंदा दूसरे धर्म के बंदे को डोमिनेट करने की कोशिश करे, उस हम कॉन्सेप्ट को बोलते हैं इंटर रिलीजियस डोमिनेशन. For example, during the riots in 1984, more than 2,700 Sikhs were massacred in Delhi. For example, the atrocities which were faced by the Kashmiri Pandits. For example, the Godhra riots in Gujarat in 2002, these are the examples of inter-religious domination. And in each of these cases, in all of these cases, members of one community was trying to dominate the members of another community. So basically the fight was on religious identity. And here the basic freedom of a set of citizens are denied. For example, if one religion is dominating another religion, that means this another religion who is being dominated, basically the people or the members of this or followers of this religion are being denied the basic freedoms, the basic rights, right? So that is inter-religious domination. Intra-religious domination means when members of one religion try to dominate the members of the same religion. We know that in a religion there are basically different kinds of sects which are formed. एक ही religion में अलग अलग sectors बन जाते हैं ना. For example, Shia and Sunni in the Islam religion, right? For example, the Vaishnavites, the Shaivites in Hinduism. Okay, for example, the Catholic and Protestants in the Christianity religion. So when there are different sects which are formed in one religion, and when one individual of sect 1 tries to dominate the people of another sect in the same religion, that becomes intra-religious domination. यानी कि एक ही धर्म में दो अलग अलग कम्युनिटीज बन गई हैं और एक कम्युनिटी दूसरे कम्युनिटी को डोमिनेट करने की कोशिश कर रही है, भले ही उनका धर्म एक है. So, to understand, religion, to understand, secularism, we must first know that suffering is a part of life. आपको पता है ना, suffering जो है वो सबके life का part है. You cannot say that I do not suffer. No. In every, family, there, might have been one death that the family members might have, faced. Your grandparents must have died, right? Any relative must have died. कुछ लोगों के पेरेंट्स में फादर की डेथ हो जाती है, किसी के ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स की डेथ हो जाती है, तो सफरिंग तो वो भी है. किसी को कोई बीमारी हो गई, किसी को सर में दर्द हो रहा है, so suffering is a part of life. Just like success and failure are a part of life, suffering is also a part of life. And diseases cannot be eliminated permanently. That also you know. बूढ़े हो गए तो डिजीज तो होगी ना, भले यंग हो तो आपको कोई बीमारी नहीं है, बुढ़ापे में तो 100 बीमारी आ जाती हैं, घुटनों में प्रॉब्लम है, सर में दर्द है, स्पाइन रिलेटेड इशू आ गया, ठीक है. तो डिजीज कैन नेवर बी इंटायरली एलिमिनेटेड एंड वी कैन नेवर बी इंटायरली रिड ऑफ द एलिमेंट ऑफ एक्सीडेंट और लक. ये तो बहुत ही बड़ा जुआ है लाइफ का. दिस इज द बिगेस्ट गैम्बल ऑफ लाइफ. व्हेन यू स्टेप आउट यू कैन नॉट से दैट देयर विल बी नो एक्सीडेंट दैट आई माइट फेस. हमें नहीं पता भाई, लकी ऐसा होता है कभी कभी कि कहीं कोई एक्सीडेंट हो गया, चोट लग गई, ठीक है, तो ये तो किसी के हाथ में नहीं है. इट इज नॉट इन द कंट्रोल ऑफ एनीबॉडी. सो दैट इज व्हाई द रिलीजन कम्स टू प्ले, बिकॉज रिलीजन गिव्स अस होप. रिलीजन जो है वो हमें होप देता है. आवर फेथ गिव्स अस द होप दैट नो मैटर व्हाट वी विल बी प्रोटेक्टेड. इवन इफ वी आर सफरिंग वी विल बी टेकन केयर ऑफ. That is the hope that is given by religion. धर्म हमें एक तरीके से होप देता है, उम्मीद देता है कि इस अनसर्टन लाइफ में भी हम पॉजिटिवली सोचकर, पॉजिटिव इंटेंशंस के साथ जी सकते हैं, क्योंकि हमारे धर्म हमें ये उम्मीद देता है कि भले ही आज हम सफर कर रहे हैं बट एक दिन अच्छा दिन जरूर आएगा. एक माइटी पावर है जो हमें प्रोटेक्ट कर रही है, वो हमें इस प्रॉब्लम से निकाल ही लेगी, राइट. बट इफ रिलीजन डिसअपियर्स, राइट, अगर रिलीजन डिसअपियर हो गया, दैट मीन्स देयर आर नो सफरिंग्स इन लाइफ. अब जिस दिन रिलीजन डिसअपियर हो जाएगा, धर्म का नामोनिशान मिट जाएगा इस धरती से, इसका मतलब यह है कि सफरिंग ही नहीं है, क्योंकि फिर लोगों को होप की जरूरत ही नहीं होगी. तो अगर लोगों की बेसिक नेसेसिटीज फुलफिल हो जाए, लोग हेल्दी लाइफ जिए, खुश लाइफ जिए, तो उन्हें धर्म की जरूरत ही नहीं पड़ेगी, क्योंकि कहा तो यही जाता है कि धर्म हमें उम्मीद देता है, इसलिए हम धर्म को फॉलो करते हैं. जहाँ सारी उम्मीदें, रास्ते खत्म हो जाते हैं, धर्म रास्ते खोलता है. Okay, and secularism accepts this principle. So secularism is not anti-religious. This is the first important point about secularism that you need to understand. Secularism धर्म के खिलाफ नहीं है. Secularism doesn't mean that you become anti-religious. No. Secularism talks about religious fundamentalism. That religious fundamentalism is wrong. Secularism बोलता है कि religious fundamentalism गलत है. I am not anti-religious. Secularism says I am not anti-religious. I do not stand against the religion. Okay? But I give you the open-mindedness to follow any religion that you want to. Secularism बोलता है कि मैं आपको ये खुला विचारधारा देता हूँ कि आप किसी भी religion को follow करो, as long as वो आपको hope देता है, positive उम्मीद देता है. So you must be wondering, what is religious fundamentalism? Religious fundamentalism is a movement which is based on the belief of a community in absolute authority of sacred text of its own religion or faith. That means a person who is saying my religion is good and your religion is bad, that person is following religious fundamentalism, because they believe that their own religion is beyond any fault. They believe that my religion is flawless, and then that is why they force their religion on others. Religious fundamentalism के against है secularism. Secularism stands against religious fundamentalism. ठीक है, it says that one should not follow religious fundamentalism. One should not say that my religion is good and yours is bad, so you have to follow my religion only. That is wrong. Religion should be followed freely if it is giving you the hope to overcome that suffering that you are facing. And we know that every religion is fragmented. हर religion में आप देखोगे अलग अलग communities, sects और fragments बने हुए हैं. For example, in Christianity, there is a fight between Catholic and Protestants. In Islam, there are two kinds of sects, Shia Muslims and Sunni Muslims, right? And then sometimes there are gender discrimination within the same religion. Sometimes Dalits are not, allowed to enter the temples. Women are not allowed to enter specific temples. So this is also found in every religion. So secularism is opposed to all forms of institutionalized religious domination. Secularism बोलता है कि हमारा जो आइडिया वो ये है कि सफरिंग सबकी लाइफ में है और सफरिंग से बचने के लिए लोग रिलीजन की तरफ जाते हैं क्योंकि रिलीजन उन्हें एक होप देता है, फेथ देता है कि ये सफरिंग एक ना एक दिन खत्म होगी, ठीक है। बट अगर आप रिलीजन के नाम पर किसी को डोमिनेट करने लग गए, अगर आप फ्री हो, यू आर फ्री टू फॉलो योर रिलीजन, बट इफ यू ट्राई टू फोर्स योर रिलीजन ऑन समबडी एल्स, then we are not going to accept that. So secularism is opposed to any kind of religious domination. Now the question is, what is a secular state? Now हम बोलते हैं कि अगर आपको रिलीजियस डोमिनेशन से बचना है तो ऐसा स्टेट बनाना पड़ेगा जो सेक्युलर होगा, उस स्टेट को हम सेक्युलर स्टेट बोलते हैं। बट इज इट पॉसिबल टू हैव अ सेक्युलर स्टेट? दैट इज द क्वेश्चन। So perhaps one way of preventing religious discrimination is to work together for mutual enlightenment. अगर आपको religious discrimination को prevent करना है, हटाना है, तो आपको एक साथ यूनिटी में काम करना होगा सभी के मोक्ष के लिए, सभी के enlightenment के लिए, सभी के consciousness को evolve करवाने के लिए। And for that, first way is educating everybody. Educating people to help them change their mindset, to broaden their mindset. Okay, point clear हो रहा है? But only education is not enough. कभी कभी क्या होता है, लोगों के इंटेंशन इतने खराब होते हैं कि भले ही वो एजुकेटेड है फिर भी वो गलत काम करते हैं। Sometimes people are so bad with intentions that even if you educate them, they will end up doing horrible things. Okay, so in modern society, states have enormous public power. How they function is beyond to make a crucial difference to the outcome of any struggle to create a society less ridden with inter-community conflict. So we need to see what kind of state is needed. Sometimes even government has the broad power to regulate the state, but for that also we need a kind of state which is needed to prevent religious conflict and to promote religious harmony. And that kind of ideal state can be a secular state. कभी कभी गवर्नमेंट भी बहुत पावरफुल होती है, वो चाहे तो किसी भी तरीके का इंटर कम्युनिटी कॉन्फ्लिक्ट खत्म कर सकती है, बट स्टिल परमानेंट नहीं है ये चीज। परमानेंटली वी कैन नॉट गेट रिड ऑफ इंटर कम्युनिटी कॉन्फ्लिक्ट, सो वी नीड टू एस्टैब्लिश अ स्टेट which promotes religious harmony. And when religious harmony is promoted, the conflicts can go down, right? So how should a state prevent domination by any religious group? So for a start, in the beginning, a state must not be run by head of any particular religion. अगर किसी स्टेट में आपको डोमिनेशन एक रिलीजियस कम्युनिटी का या ग्रुप का खत्म करना है, तो आप सबसे पहले तो ये मेक श्योर करो कि आपके उस स्टेट में को जो हेड है स्टेट का, वो किसी पर्टिकुलर रिलीजन का हेड ना हो। Because if the head of the state is also the head of a particular religious community, then he might try to forcefully dominate other religious communities or groups. And those kind of states are called theocratic states, where the head of the state is also a head of the religious community. ऐसे states को हम theocratic state बोलते हैं, जिसमें state का जो head है, leader है, वो किसी religious community का भी leader है। For example, the papal states of Europe in medieval times, or for example the Taliban controlled state is a theocratic state, because then the political institutions and religious institutions are not separated. वो अलग नहीं होते, दोनों सेम ही होते हैं। The politics are influenced by religion, religion is influenced by politics. Okay, point clear हो रहा है? This is the first step that needs to be taken. And to be truly secular, state or the nation must not only refuse to be theocratic, but also have no formal legal alliance or grouping or partnership with any religion. ऐसा नहीं है कि सेक्युलर बनने के लिए थियोक्रेटिक स्टेट्स नहीं होना चाहिए, नहीं, बल्कि ये भी मेक श्योर करो कि उस स्टेट का कोई पॉलिटिकल फॉर्मल या लीगल ग्रुप या पार्टनरशिप नहीं है किसी रिलीजन के साथ. सो दैट मीन्स अ सेक्युलर स्टेट इज अ स्टेट वेयर रिलीजन एंड गवर्नेंस आर सेपरेटेड. This is the first requirement for a state to become a secular state. Religion state, एक सेक्युलर स्टेट अगर हमें बनाना है एक स्टेट को, तो रिलीजन अलग करो, पॉलिटिक्स अलग करो. बट दिस इज ऑल्सो नॉट सफिशिएंट. ये भी तो सफिशिएंट नहीं है सिर्फ. That state, second point is, must be committed to principles and goals which are at least partly derived from non-religious sources. That means that state must work for peace, that state must, work for religious freedom, that state must be, work for providing freedom from religiously grounded operation. That should be the motive of a secular state. These should be the ends of a secular state. End मतलब motive. एक secular state का motive होना चाहिए शांति, religious freedom, आप कोई भी religion या धर्म को freely आप follow कर सकते हो, and किसी भी religious ground पे आप किसी को oppress ना करो, किसी भी तरीके का religious ground पे exclusion या discrimination ना हो. Any form of inter-religious or intra-religious domination should not be there. In that case, that state will be known as a secular state. These are the two qualities for a state to become a secular state. Please remember this for interview, ethics paper, essay paper, and also paper 1 in mains. Now, there are two kinds of model for secularism. One is the Western model of secularism. Second is the Indian model of secularism. Before we move forward, here's a small announcement for all of you. Now you can get 20% discount on all of your UPSC CSE subscription on Unacademy Plus. This offer is valid only till 30th June. And here on all the batches, the prices have been, slashed down. It has been, lessened. इसको कम कर दिया है, decrease कर दिया है prices को. 20% discount इन सभी batches में मिल रहा है. Plus 10% discount you will get if you use code ARPITA10. तो total आपको ये जो 20% discount मिल रहा है इस code को use करके, वो आपको UPSC CSE के, preparation में काफी मददगार साबित होगा, help करेगा. If you are trying to, be disciplined, if you want a guide, a mentor who has extreme deep experience in the field of UPSC CSE, who himself has given this exam or has cracked this exam, then please join Unacademy today. New batches are starting on Unacademy Plus. Mains का mentorship batch भी है, optional batches भी हैं, GS CSAT के batches भी हैं. 29th जून यानी कि आज से batches start हो रहे हैं और ये code use करके आपको total 20% का discount भी मिल रहा है Unacademy Plus पे. वैसे ही हमने सारे प्राइसेस कम कर दिए हैं, कोड भी प्रोवाइड कर दिया है ताकि आपको मैक्सिमम से मैक्सिमम डिस्काउंट मिले, बट ये ऑफर कल तक ही वैलिड है. सो मेक श्योर दैट यू सब्सक्राइब टू Unacademy Plus टुडे. Now moving forward, Western model of secularism, when we talk about it, this model says that all secular states have one thing in common. They are neither theocratic nor do they establish a religion. So this is the definition of secular state according to the Western model. अगर हम बाहर के मॉडल के हिसाब से देखें तो सेक्युलर स्टेट का मतलब वो स्टेट जो कि ना थियोक्रेटिक है ना उसने कोई रिलीजन स्टैब्लिश किया है. However, in most commonly prevalent conceptions inspired mainly by American model, separation of religion and state is understood as mutual exclusion. That means both the religion and the governance have mutually decided that we will not interfere in each other's business. तो अमेरिकन मॉडल या वेस्टर्न मॉडल ये बोलता है कि सेक्युलर स्टेट का मतलब है वो स्टेट जो ना तो थियोक्रेटिक है ना ही उसने कोई रिलीजन अपना स्टैब्लिश किया है. यानी कि रिलीजन और स्टेट दोनों ही ने म्यूचुअली ये आप बोल सकते हो इस बात पे हामी भरी है कि हम एक दूसरे के काम में टांग नहीं अड़ाएंगे. And state will not interfere in the affairs of religion and religion will not interfere in the the affairs of the state. Each has a separate sphere of activity. दोनों एक दूसरे के बाउंड्री में एंटर ही नहीं करेंगे. And no state can help any religious institution. That is the base meaning of mutual exclusion. Government religious institution के काम में दखल अंदाजी नहीं करेगा या help provide नहीं करेगा. State cannot give financial support to educational institutions run by religious communities. State cannot, restrict or disturb the activities of religious communities. But it should be made sure, it should be ensured that the religious communities are not participating in such activities which are beyond the laws which have been set by the government. Religious communities की activity में state interfere नहीं करेगा अगर religious communities law का पालन करते हुए अपनी activities को निभा रही हैं. Point clear हो गया? So we have a case study also. Now there was a very famous ruler in Turkey, Mustafa Kemal Atatürk. Now this Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, he came to power in Turkey after First World War. And he used to follow the Western model of secularism. ये जो मुस्तफा जी थे, ये Western model secularism का follow करते थे. And basically secularism, had a very different form in Turkey in the first half of 20th century. So what were the principles and policies followed by Mustafa Kemal Ataturk? First of all, he included this surname called Ataturk in his name. Ataturk means father of Turks. And he broke the traditional thinking and traditional, expressions of, Turkey by to elevate it, to westernize Turkey. What he did, he brought the Western model of secularism. So first what he did, he banned the fez. Fez was a traditional cap which was worn by the Muslims. So he banned it. इस पे बैन लगा दिया, पाबंदी लगा दी, कोई इसको नहीं पहनेगा. And he also, asked his people that nobody will wear traditional religious clothes. Everybody will wear, men and women, the western clothes. तो उन्होंने western clothing line भी introduce कर दी और बोल दिया कोई traditional clothes नहीं पहनेगा. ठीक है. And he set out in a very aggressive manner to modernize and to secularize Turkey. इन्होंने western clothing को encourage किया. Okay. And he also replaced the traditional Turkish calendar with a western ग्रेगोरियन कैलेंडर. जो ग्रेगोरियन कैलेंडर है, वेस्टर्न कैलेंडर, उसको इंट्रोड्यूस करा दिया. टर्किश जो ट्रेडिशनल कैलेंडर है उसको हटवा दिया. एंड इन 1928 ही आल्सो इंट्रोड्यूस्ड अ न्यू टर्किश अल्फाबेट in the modified Latin form. So these were the practices that were followed by Mustafa Kemal Ataturk when he was preaching the Western model of secularism. But what is this Indian secularism? We do not follow the Western model of secularism, we follow the Indian secularism. So what is it? Let us understand that also. Indian secularism does not focus on church-state separation. Indian state is not theocratic. Indian state theocratic भी नहीं है. But Indian state ना church-state separation पे focus नहीं करता. Fundamentally, it is different from Western secularism. Because it says that we cannot remove religion from our country altogether or from our, you can say politics altogether. हम अपने politics से या हम अपने governance से religion को हटा नहीं सकते, because there are so many ministers who are still asking votes or in the name of religion. They are targeting for votes various different religious communities. So we cannot remove completely the idea of religion from governance also. That is the idea behind Indian secularism. But we believe in the word tolerance. हम tolerance word में believe करते हैं यहाँ पर. ठीक है. अब but only tolerance is also not enough. We will study that also. So already a culture of inter-religious tolerance is practiced in India, is prevalent in India. India में inter-religious tolerance का culture है कि हम सभी religion को tolerance रखते हैं सभी religions की तरह. ठीक है. It is compatible with religious domination. That is why it is not completely followed also. इसको हम completely follow भी नहीं कर सकते. क्यों? क्योंकि ये religious domination के साथ compatible है ये word. यानी कि अगर tolerance पे ज़्यादा हमने focus किया तो एक religion दूसरे पे हावी भी हो सकता है. If we full-fledgedly follow tolerance, one religion can take advantage of this situation also and dominate itself on the other religion. So such freedom is usually limited. Okay. Tolerance is a very great virtue if a country is recovering from a civil war. अगर कोई country civil war से recover कर रही है तो उस वक्त हम tolerance का feature practice भी कर सकते हैं. But अगर कोई country में equal dignity है, peace है, उस case में हम tolerance के ऊपर ज़्यादा pressure नहीं डाल सकते. Indian state may engage with religion negatively to oppose religious tyranny also. For example, we have put ban on untouchability. Untouchability पे बैन लगा दिया गया है ना. Now some religions they follow untouchability वाला principle. कुछ religion में होता है कि भाई minorities है उनको touch मत करने दो अपने घर की चीजों को. वो जिस ग्लास में पानी पीते हैं उस ग्लास को अलग करके रखो. तो इस केस में हमारा जो Indian state है वो religion के साथ negatively भी religion को deal करता है इसके साथ, ताकि religious tyranny को, religious oppression को रोका जा सके. Point clear? And this advent of Western modernity that came to India when the Britishers came to India, when the Portuguese, the Dutch came to India, the Western modernity also entered India. This has resulted in equal focus on intra-religious and inter-religious domination. Initially, we used to focus on inter-religious tolerance. But जैसे ही Western modernity India में आई, हमने दोनों तरीके के domination को दिमाग में रख के पॉलिसीज बनानी शुरू करी कि भाई दोनों तरीके के डोमिनेशन, इंट्रा रिलीजियस और इंटर रिलीजियस डोमिनेशन हो सकते हैं. Indian secularism equally opposed oppression of Dalits, domination of women in Hinduism, discrimination against women in Indian Islam or Christianity, possible threats that a majority community might pose to a minority community. So we are opposed to that also when we talk about Indian secularism. And this is the first important difference of between Indian secularism and Western secularism. If there is a question that is asked, what is the difference between Indian secularism and Western secularism? Please remember that Indian secularism, it is against the oppression of Dalits and women within religions. रिलीजन में अगर आपस में कोई तरीके का डोमिनेशन ऑपरेशन है, टायरनी है, तो इंडियन सेक्युलरिज्म के तहत हम उसको भी अगेंस्ट खड़े होते हैं. बट इन वेस्टर्न सेक्युलरिज्म governance does not interfere in the matter of religion. So if a woman is not allowed to enter a church, government will not do anything, because that is the matter of a religion. State is different, religion is different. But in Indian secularism, if there is such kind of practices, then governance will interfere and try to amend such practices. For example, the Sabrimala issue. जो सबरीमाला इशू हुआ था उसमें सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने क्यों एंटर किया था? क्योंकि हमारे यहाँ पर इंडिया में अगर किसी तरीके का ऑपरेशन या टायरनी हम रिलीजन में भी देखते हैं तो उस टायरनी के अगेंस्ट भी हम खड़े होते हैं, गवर्नेंस खड़ी होती है. दैट इज द फर्स्ट डिफरेंस. Second difference, Indian secularism deals not only with religious freedom of individual but also with religious freedom of minority communities. So we also make sure that not only individuals' freedom is maintained but minority communities are also taken care of. Individual has right to profess religion of his or her choice, and religious minorities also have the same right. That is the second difference between Indian secularism and Western secularism. And third difference, Indian secularism is compatible with the idea of state supported religious reform, wherein state supports the reforms which are to be made in religion. For example, इसका biggest example is when Indian constitution banned untouchability, when Indian constitution banned child marriage. But Western constitution में क्या होता है? Western secularism में the government is not focused on what is happening in a religious community. Okay, point clear? Now let's have a look at today's homework question. First question is, what do you understand by secularism? Now I think you might be in a position to answer this question. Can it be equated with religious tolerance? I explained to you in great detail how secularism cannot just be equated with religious tolerance, because religious tolerance has two different meanings in a country which is recovering from a civil war and in a country which has equal dignity and is currently in a peaceful state. Okay, so this is very easy. 10 marks का question है, ये आप आंसर कर ही सकते हैं. Second question, explain the concept of principal distance. So this concept is talked about in article 29 and 30. Okay, and you can answer this question in this is a 5-mark question. आप 1 page में इसका आंसर लिख सकते हो. So here article 29 and article 30 of Indian Constitution, they talk about principled distance between the minorities and the majorities. Minorities and majority communities जो हैं उनके बीच में एक principled distance होना चाहिए. Why? To protect, to preserve, to propagate. There are 3 P's: protect, preserve and propagate the cultural, linguistic and religious identity of both these communities through establishment of cultural and educational institutions. That is the meaning of principled distance, and you can give examples also. Okay, point clear हो गया यहाँ पर. And do you know that Indian secularism follows the principle of principled distance? हमारा जो भारतीय secularism है वो principled distance का principle ही follow करता है. ठीक है, तो आप यहाँ पर आर्टिकल 25 सबसेक्शन 2 भी कोट कर सकते हो. थर्ड क्वेश्चन, सेक्युलरिज्म डज नॉट अलाउ अस टू हैव अ रिलीजियस आइडेंटिटी. डू यू अग्री? एक्सप्लेन. सो यू कैन हैव बोथ काइंड ऑफ आंसर्स. इफ यू अग्री, you can explain with the help of examples. If you do not agree, then also you can quote examples why you do not agree. क्या आपको लगता है सेक्युलरिज्म रिलीजियस आइडेंटिटी अलाउ नहीं करता एक कंट्री में? तो ये आपको एक्सप्लेन करना है फ्रॉम द पर्सपेक्टिव ऑफ बोथ वेस्टर्न सेक्युलरिज्म एंड इंडियन सेक्युलरिज्म. अगेन ये 10 मार्क्स का क्वेश्चन रहेगा आपका. फोर्थ क्वेश्चन, व्हाट इज सेक्युलरिज्म? डिस्कस हाउ इंडियन कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ सेक्युलरिज्म इज ब्रॉडर देन द वेस्टर्न कॉन्सेप्ट. सो आई हैव एक्सप्लेन टू यू द डिफरेंस बिटवीन इंडियन सेक्युलरिज्म एंड वेस्टर्न सेक्युलरिज्म. यहाँ पर हमने डिफरेंस पढ़ा है एक पेज का, आपको इसको एक्सप्लेन करना है. अगेन 10 मार्क्स का क्वेश्चन. एंड स्टार्ट विथ व्हाट इज सेक्युलरिज्म. ओके, 2 पार्ट्स का क्वेश्चन है ये. So this is your homework for today. I hope you enjoyed today's lecture. उम्मीद करती हूँ आज का लेक्चर आपको अच्छा लगा होगा. On this note, we are wrapping up the class.